I believe that in all people is the realization of their own potential. I feel as if many of us are able to somewhat see the possibilities we have, yet I think the world forces us to be somewhat reluctant towards our aspirations, as if we must conform to like some sort of occupational regime. I know that many people in general have their own goals and aspirations and things they want to get done in their life and things they feel like they need to get done, or in terms of their purpose or whatnot, finding their own meaning, finding out who they are. But I feel like a lot of the times it gets brushed under the rug. In terms of our own goals, like I feel like many of us don't actually take the time to strive and take action towards things we truly desire, either because they're not valued in a societal sense, or maybe it seems difficult, so we rather ought not to try than to try it all and fail and then have to deal with that. But I think this inaction is a waste. Just as potential transfers to kinetic, we must begin our own movement to create any type of flow. You know, you can't go with the flow if you're not even in like something that's flowing. You're not going with the flow if you're stationary. Is what I'm saying. You need to not constantly, but at least partially be striving towards something, knowing that you want something and moving towards that desire day to day or whenever you find the time to. I realize that this life is really a short experience. Even 100 years isn't that long of a time, and in those years, I don't think people truly, you know, run towards their goals. And sometimes this is due to a lack of support of their environment, but I think most of the time it's because of lack of support of the self. I think most of the time people don't actually inwardly believe that they can achieve what they put their mind to. They rather go around thinking that, oh, I want this job, I want this job. But I think society's not teaching us to make money, it's teaching us to make money for others in a different way. I think the fact that we're taught to value, this type of currency is taking us away from some of the roots and values I think are really important to just living. Like familiar values, like valuing your friends, family, and your relationships with things around you. Valuing and being grateful for all the things you have, as well as the environment you've been blessed to live in. Life is not always a guarantee, and it's not always, something that is easy. And I feel like a lot of times when it is easy, people don't really take the time to appreciate that. A lot is lost in thought, you know. A lot is lost in a thought of ineptitude or a negative self prescribed connotation. We can only be as great as we allow ourselves to be in our minds. And oftentimes we project our internal struggles and they manifest into our outward interactions and daily ordeals. It's because we believe we can't that we can't, not because we believe we can that we can't. It's because we don't have the necessary visualization and prowess and intuition to formulate that kind of identity that can be in that situation. I think a lot of people view their identity as something super solid and immovable, and that causes them to only be able to fit into certain solid things. But the more and more you allow yourself to go with the flow and be fluid, the more you're going to be able to alter and allow yourself to fit in the things that maybe you desire for yourself rather than what society desires for you. Um, you know, but he who thinks he knows himself, is the one that's truly at fault, because he who thinks the journey is over is the one that's truly lost. that's to say that, you know, it's that lack of possibility that makes us conform. If all we are is change, then thinking that we're a solid thing, or giving ourselves too many connotations, is ultimately going to limit our entire identity and limit who we can be in a real sense. So I think the point is, or the overall meaning is to kind of get out of this self-inflicted cage that prohibits ourselves to expand and tend towards the things that we truly desire, our passions.